Well, hello everyone. I'm doing this short video to talk about our Career Coaching and Advocacy program, which is something that Arete has been offering now for a couple of years, although more recently it's had a bit of a hiatus as I've been focusing on other things. So I imagine most people watching this will be familiar with the fact that I run a monthly workshop called the Career Accelerator Workshop, and that workshop is designed to assist people in implementing the tools and techniques and methodology that's put out in my book, Uncover the Hidden Job Market. Essentially, what I'm suggesting is that probably 90% of good senior executive roles, and I'd suggest 98% of board roles, never get to the open market. They are filled by organisations through people that they know and they trust and have the requisite skill set to do the job. And why would an organisation go through a protracted and expensive recruitment process when they can literally just hire somebody and get on with business? And what my book really advocates is for people to start to reach out directly to their employers of choice and get in front of them before they know that they need them, so that they can access hidden job market opportunities. However, the challenge is a lot of senior executives and board directors that I work with have a lack of confidence in doing that. They understand the philosophy, they believe the methodology works, and I can guarantee you, having had literally hundreds of positive testimonials as to people who have applied my methodology and gotten success, there are a lot of people who either lack the confidence to reach out directly themselves, or perhaps they want to accelerate their job search. They might be redundant or very keen to get in a new role. And what they've said to me is, Richard, I love what you say in the book. It's so practical, it's so easy to understand, and I completely respect what you're proposing that I should do, but I'm not doing it. So what I decided to do was to launch an advocacy service. And essentially the way that this works is that I have an initial 90-minute session, which is a strategy session with the candidate, be they executive or board. We review their CV, we review their LinkedIn profile, we start to discuss their employers of choice, and we determine a strategy for taking them to the market. And then what I do is, using my LinkedIn connections and my connections within the market and my professional brand as an executive headhunter, I make the introductions on their behalf. So it would turn out that over however long it takes, whether it's a month, 3 months, 12 months, it depends on how quickly a person wants to achieve their next role as to the amount of volume we do. I'm literally going out and making the introduction between the candidate and their employer of choice. Now, in the good old days of recruitment, a recruitment consultant would say to the candidate, let me just use an example. Let's say that their employer of choice is Rio Tinto. How about I introduce you to Rio Tinto, and if Rio Tinto like you and they hire you, then Rio Tinto are going to pay me a substantive fee. But the reality is now that Rio Tinto, with LinkedIn and with internal recruitment teams, if I was to reach out and say, I'd like to introduce you to Fred, and if you like him and you hire him, you're going to pay me a fee, Rio Tinto would probably say no. They'd probably say, look, we don't have an appetite for Fred at the moment. If we did, we'd probably try and find him ourselves. And why do we want to feel obliged to pay you a big fee when really all you're doing is sending us somebody's CV? So that type of recruitment, which used to be called showcasing talent or floating candidates, has largely gone away. In this situation, when I'm making the introduction, I'm saying to the employer, let's say it's Rio Tinto, look, I'd like to introduce you to Fred, and if you meet Fred and you like Fred and you hire Fred, Rio Tinto, you pay me no fee. There's absolutely no cost to the employer because the candidate is my client. And what this means is that there is no barrier to them having a meeting. If they say, and let's say for example I'm making an introduction to the CEO or a C-suite executive, if they say, look, Richard's putting his brand behind this person, I've checked out their LinkedIn profile, they look relevant and competent, and if there's no cost to me if I hire this person, then why wouldn't I meet with them? So what I do is I go out and, using my networks and my relationships, at a pace that suits the candidate, start to make these introductions for you. And that has proven to be extremely successful. Another way that the advocacy process works is, let's say that you apply for a role in the open market. Let's say it's either through a third-party recruiter or directly with an employer. I contact them and I say, I know that you're recruiting this role. One of your applicants is Fred. He's fantastic. This is why. I would highly encourage you to interview Fred. And by the way, if you interview him and you like him and you hire him, I'm not looking for any fee. I'm merely supporting Fred in his job search. So essentially it's a two-pronged strategy. It is warm introductions to your employer of choice for hidden job market opportunities, and it is very clear advocacy on your behalf for roles that are in the open market. And I work with candidates for up to 12 months for however long it takes them to achieve job of choice with employer of choice. And as I say, this is a situation where the candidate is my client, so I can put all of my attention on the candidate and supporting them through their job search. Candidates who are involved in the advocacy process can ring me or email me at any time, and I will make sure that I'm there to support them. I'll coach them through their interviews. We'll talk about the market. We'll talk about opportunities. It's a very holistic solution. So if you're interested in exploring this career coaching and advocacy, what I'd recommend that you do is you read my document called A Virtual Coffee with Richard Triggs. Virtual because I'm not actually meeting with you face to face, but you can enjoy a coffee whilst you read that document. It'll outline the process in good detail, including the pricing, etc. And then if that's something that you're interested in exploring further, you can book in for a discovery telephone call with me, and I'd be very happy to have a chat to you about your personal circumstance, whether this program may be appropriate, and if it is and you want to engage, then I'd love to work with you. So I hope that that's given you a bit of information about our career coaching and advocacy services, but like I say, don't hesitate to reach out to me if you'd like to learn more about it, and I'd be very happy to discuss it in more detail.